Don't run after love. Love isn't to be chased, earned, or worked for. Put all that energy into yourself, and then your world will change so dramatically. So many people go to a doctor and they have what I call a presenter. Here's my problem. I eat too much, shop too much, buy too much, drink too much. But that's not the problem. The problem is what lies inside. I just don't feel enough, so I need more alcohol, more pain pills, more drugs, more money. And so if you just treat the presenting symptom, you never really make people better. But when you really peel away and treat the feeling of not being enough, then you change someone's life forever. No medication is required.
So what are some destructive behaviors that we do when we feel that we are not enough?
Okay, well, let's look at somebody like Amy Winehouse or Whitney Houston. Here are two girls with immense talent, beauty, extraordinary gifts. But you see, when you're a little girl and your parents fight or leave, especially in Amy's case, when her father left her mother when she was very little, a child will always think, but if I was enough, how could my dad go? If I was enough, why do my parents fight? When you're a small child, if you work out, oh, he's my dad and he's an alcoholic, it's really scary. But if you think, well, it's my fault my dad's like that because I'm not smart enough, good enough, nice enough, then you try hard to change and you feel somewhat in control of it. But the problem is that once you start to think it must be my fault, my mum's always crying, it must be my fault, my dad's always in the pub, must be my fault, my parents always fight. Once a child buys that, they don't ever give it up. And so someone like Amy, for instance, was treated for bulimia, she was treated for alcoholism, she was treated for drug addiction, and she was treated for depression. But she was never treated for her real problem. Beneath all of those issues was the real thing. I just don't believe I'm good enough. I don't think I'm worth it. And if you have a belief that says I'm not worth it, when you get awards, you have to debase them. You have to ruin it all. It's like people who don't think they're worth money and win the lottery will get rid of it all. A lot of lottery winners go bankrupt within 3 years. Because if your underlying belief is I'm not good enough, I could con you into having a relationship with me. If you really know me, you'll get so bored with me. So if I meet someone who likes me, I've got to ruin that relationship as fast as I can, because I've got to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we look at many superstars like the comedian Robin Williams, Heath Ledger, what a beautiful talent. Think, why would they kill themselves? They had everything. Mm-hmm. No, they didn't. They didn't have the one thing that makes life worth living. I'm enough. You see, when you know you're enough, when I know I'm enough, you know I'm enough. I don't have to work for you to do that. So many of my clients, especially young girls, they try to earn love. They chase love. They run after love. They work so hard to make some boy, some idiot boy, or a parent, or a mother, or a boss think they're good enough. And no one teaches them, listen, why don't you work on you? Why don't you believe you're enough? And then the idiot boy will be at your feet. Don't run after love. Love isn't to be chased, earned, or worked for. Put all that energy into yourself, and then your world will change so dramatically. Because we try so hard to make other people like us, when actually the thing you have to do is to really like yourself. And it's much easier, and it's certainly easier than trying to make other people like you. Because when you're little, you have what I call unmet needs. I need to feel safe, but my dad's in the pub and I'm not safe. He comes home and breaks the furniture. I need to have money, but my mum is always crying because she can't pay the bill, so I don't have money. I need to feel smart, but my mum's always saying, well, your brother, oh my God, he could write before you and he's smarter than you. So we get these unmet needs. And when we're little, we have a belief, well, I can't meet these needs. I'm only 3 and no one else can meet the needs. And then we tag on something interesting. My unmet needs will never be met. And then we go out into the world and go, I need to find someone to meet my unmet needs. And there isn't anyone. There's no one in the world that can meet all your needs. But when you start to meet some of them yourself, your life becomes truly extraordinary. How do you love yourself? Well, first of all, it is vital, essential, crucial for you to love yourself. If you want anyone to love you and be with you and stay with you, they have to believe you're worth loving. And if you attract someone by faking it and pretending, they very quickly work out that you don't think you're worth it. Then they don't think you're worth it. So what I see so many people doing is this classic mistake of trying to make someone else love them. I'm going to find this guy and try to make him love me. I'm going to find this girl, this woman, and try to make them love me. I'm going to run after love, chase after love, work so hard. I'm going to earn that love of being super good or super hot or super nice or super indispensable. And that is all a mistake. Love is not to be earned. Love is not to be worked for or run after or bought or even traded. And if you want to find love, there's one thing you have to change. It is not your body. It's not your weight, your shape, your size, the years on your birth certificate. Nothing has to be snipped off or injected in to make you feel lovable. Nothing has to be bought, added, taken away. The only thing you need to find love is a belief that you are lovable. You see, people love you to the degree that they think you're worthy of being loved. We all know that story. I couldn't find a partner. I was in an emotional wasteland, a relationship wasteland for 4 years. I met someone, and how weird, in that same month, 3 other people asked me out. That's because when someone loves you and goes, hey, I just called to hear your voice. I just rang your answer machine just to hear your voice. I just was looking at your picture. I just checked in to say you're the best thing that's ever happened. We think, oh, I'm so lovable now. When we feel lovable, other people also notice that we are lovable. But here's the mistake we make. We go to someone, hey, could you make me feel lovable? Could you make me believe I'm worth loving? Could you love me? Could you meet my unmet need to feel lovable, to feel desirable, to feel worthy? Somebody go, yeah, of course. You want me to love you? I'll sign up for that. I can make you feel lovable, desirable, sexy, worth being with. But the problem is when you give someone the job of making you feel lovable, you also give them the job of removing that whenever they want to. They may turn up for a week, a year, 5 years, but if their job is to make you feel good about you, the other side of that coin is when they leave, you feel bad about you. Oh, I'm not lovable after all. That person that loved me found someone younger, taller, nicer, smarter. The only person who can make you feel really good about you is you. You must fall in love with yourself. Of course, you can find love, attract love, maintain love, but the other person can only make you feel as lovable as you already know that you are. So you have to fall in love with you. And once you do that, it's a game changer. When you fall in love with yourself, it's a lifelong romance. It never bores you. It never tires you. No shaving or waxing is involved in order to fall in love with yourself. You don't have to dress up for it. You can just be yourself. And here's another truth. You are going to spend the longest relationship in your entire life with you. You may have kids, but you're 30 when you have them. You may find love when you're 30, but they didn't have those first 30. Your parents may love you, but they die before you. The longest relationship you will ever have in your entire life is with yourself. You might as well fall in love with yourself. And by the way, if you think, oh, I've got friends who need to hear this, like, share, sign up. Help other people understand that in order to attract love, you have to feel lovable. Now I can hear the question, but yeah, okay, but how? Well, it's very easy. First of all, you think of what would someone who would love you say to you? Imagine you got the best lover in the world. What would they say? Well, you know what they'd say. Hey, I just love the very bones of you. I'm in love with your soul. I just love you. You're the best thing that ever happened. What do all those songs go? I can't live without you. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. So say it to yourself. Think of what you most want to hear and say it. Hey, I love you. I'm in love with you. You're amazing. Every time you go past the mirror, go, there you are. Look at you. You beautiful creature, look at you, you are lovable. You're kind, you're warm, you're nice, you're funny, you got a big heart. Say everything you long to hear and dream of hearing to yourself. When you say it, your mind doesn't go, who's saying that? Who's saying that? It goes, oh, you're saying it? Well, if you say it, it must be true. You see, your mind knows someone else go, hey, I love you so much. Can you lend me $20? Your mind understands that other people can manipulate you with praise. If you say it, it must be true. If you say, I love myself, or I can't love myself, I've got fat legs, it must be true. So think about the words you most want to hear. Say them and say them and say them. And just like putting lotion on dry skin, they will sink in and nourish you from the inside out. Nourish your soul with words where you nourish your chapped lips with Vaseline, and it will nourish you. Look in the mirror and go, I love you, I love you, I love you because you're lovable. Don't ever go, I love you because you're smart, because you're a size 6, because you earn a lot of money, because you're a great dentist. No. I love you because you're lovable. So say the words you always wanted to hear. Fill up that missing part of you with your own words. Nourish your soul and spirit with words. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. I know it feels silly, but who cares if it brings to you lasting love? Isn't that worth it? Believe you are lovable. When you know you are lovable just the way you are, you allow the whole world to see that, of course, you are lovable just the way you are. And we live in a world that's been very unfair, and it's made us believe that only perfect people find love. But that's not true. I love the fact that now, especially in my country, there are 2 girls with Down syndrome who are models. In America, there is a girl, Amy Mullins, who is missing her lower limbs, and she's a catwalk model, married to Rupert Friends, a massive movie star. There's a girl, I believe her name is Carmen Young Brown, who has vitiligo, impetigo, and is a Gap model, and is extraordinarily beautiful, but not perfect. And you see, you don't have to be beautiful to find love. You don't have to be perfect. In my experience of 33 years, people who try to be perfect are always unhappy, as they almost always are, alone. Supermodels get left. Beautiful people don't even get asked out because people think, well, no, they got a perfect life. Many of my clients who are models and rock stars say, I'm lonely. People don't ask me out. I worked with a beautiful, breathtaking model who said all the men I date diminish me and put me down because they feel I'm too beautiful for them. If beauty made you happy, every beautiful person would be happy, and we know what they're not. We know that Whitney Houston, extraordinarily beautiful, was unhappy. Heath Ledger, what a beautiful, beautiful man, was unhappy. So if you want to feel lovable, fall in love with yourself. Nobody can do it like you can. And when you fall in love with yourself, instead of saying, oh, could you make me feel good? Could you make me feel good? Could you make me feel good? You go, well, I feel good. I am good. I'm here. I'm lovable. And if you want to join in and we can love each other, that's great. I love me. And you can love me. And I can love you. And I hope you already love you, because I can only love what's already there. I don't want a broken person to try and put back together again. Hurt people hurt people. Damaged people damage people. You can start from being hurt. You can start from being damaged. And you heal your very soul when you fall in love with yourself. And by the way, we all know that if a bodybuilder wants to make a muscle bigger, they must break it, rest it, and build it up. And a broken heart is just the same. It's broken, and then it builds up bigger and better. And if you've had a broken heart, then you have a big, beautiful heart. Your scars make you more beautiful. Allow yourself to find love by doing the one thing that guarantees you'll find it. Know you're lovable. Know you're worth it. Fall in love with yourself. It changes everything. It really is a game changer. Marilyn Monroe was such an example of someone who looked out there. She believed, if I become rich and famous and beautiful, then surely I'll feel lovable. Fame, riches, validation. We look out there to feel good about ourselves. But even if out there loves you, it doesn't really work, because you have to look in here. You have to fall in love with yourself.
Norma Jean, you're gonna keep daydreaming, or are you gonna help me here?
I want to help Mama.
No. No. I'm not your mama. You mustn't call me that. You can call me Aunt Ida.
Yes, Aunt Ida.
At 2 weeks old, Marilyn was put into foster care. Her mother wasn't able to raise her and didn't actually even want to. She had issues of her own. So Marilyn spent her early years with a very nice foster mother, and they go to the park and she'd see children playing.
There's a Mama, and there's a Mama, and there's a Mama. But I haven't gotten a Mama.
Oh, Norma Jean, your mama wishes she could be with you, but you can't.
And Marilyn knew immediately, I don't have a mama. I'm not like all the other kids. So when Marilyn was still Norma Jean, she had already got a very established belief. I'm not lovable enough. I'll never have what other people have.
Now, all right, look. If you're so anxious to go out with girls, why don't you pick out some nice girl like Connie Haynes here?
Connie won't go out with me.
Yes, I will, Mr. Costello.
Yes, I would, Mr. Costello. I had a fight with my family tonight, and I want to disgrace them.
Norma Jean!
I tell you, Abbott, there's no use.
What are you doing? You need to get ready for school.
I'm practicing. I want to be in the pictures.
What on earth would you want to do that for?
Because if you're in the pictures, you're famous. When you're famous, everyone will love you.
So Marilyn had so many qualities that made the world fall in love with her. She was immensely talented, and fame followed her. She courted fame, she went after fame, and then fame went after her. So Marilyn came from nowhere and achieved what so many people want. She achieved that great balance of women wanted to be her, and men wanted to be with her. But because she didn't believe that she was enough, she found herself drawn to relationships with men that didn't value her. Marilyn's husband, Joe DiMaggio, wanted to possess her completely, but she was a sex symbol, and so she found herself in romantic roles with other men, and this eventually tore the marriage apart.
Guadalupe, 97. San Domingo, 99. Martinique, 105.
Having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. Temperature is rising, it isn't surprising, you certainly can.
Hi, Joe.
I started this heat wave.
Didn't that look good?
Marilyn, I think we did enough for today. I'll see you at the studio tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Thanks, Joe. Bye, Marilyn.
Bye.
What the hell was that?
Well, it's nothing, Joe. He's just my instructor.
Well, you're my wife. Don't forget it.
Even when she married her final husband, Arthur Miller, she was already planning the divorce. She knew it wouldn't work, and that was amazing to people that on her wedding day, she was already telling people how long it would last. No matter how you try to show someone that you're lovable, people can pick up when you don't love yourself. It's why so many beautiful women and beautiful men appear to get left when they seem to have it all. And if you haven't got self-esteem, no amount of love from another person or beauty or accolades is going to give you self-esteem if you can't give it to yourself. So Marilyn's life as a cautionary tale is an interesting tale. We can only learn from people like Marilyn and go, wow, I can see exactly where her thinking went wrong. Can you see where your thinking might also be going wrong? Because if you can see where you're going wrong, then you can see how to put it right. Fall in love with yourself. It sounds hard. It's easy. How do I do that here? You say, well, look in the mirror and go, hey, there you go. Look at you. You're lovable. Rebel Wilson, Amy Mullins, Chantal Brown Young, Madeline Stewart, and so many others are showing us the truth. You do not have to be perfect to be loved. Check out my next video here. you can't die from rejection. It just feels like you can, but you can't. And no one can reject you unless you give them permission. They can say mean things, horrible things, but you can choose not to let it in.